Sonlen's journal from this scenario 7, Shattered Souls. And I think it's just one page. It's like last time it was 3 pages, but I think this time it's just 1 page. So let us get into the lore part. So from the pen of Sonlen, finally we got Sonlen back. He's writing things, because before it's been like other characters writing things. But this time it is a letter written from the pen of Sonlen. So I'm going to read through it once, just all the way through, and then I'll read through it again a second time to give my opinions on it. Let's go. From the pen of Sonlen, 25th of Dagmar. Shiori. I have labored over how to write this letter, for I know that it will grieve you. In the tradition of my people, for the loss of a great warrior, they would write mourning songs and sing a dirge heard throughout the forests of Waylon trees. And 1,000 vigil lights would be set in the bows of the city. I have no such honors to give now for a fallen friend. I write this as we make camp in the sunken mires of Anund, where scavengers pick over the dead in the night around us. Major Q10 has been destroyed. I know that you are closer to him than even I was, and I cannot forget how his gentle company kept our spirits aloft through the darkest days of our journey to Takala. My search for a cure to the poison that afflicts Uller has brought me far. Aquila's wizards did not get all the information that they required from the Anthenum in Lore, but in the aftermath I received a message from Iwashia, a loyal servant of Aquila, and a powerful wizard in her own right. She has sent her familiar Anshu with me, I suspect, both to bring any useful information we encounter back to her, and to keep the elder wizard Halushia in check. He is a strange-tempered fellow, but he travels with me now in search of the wizard Rekshot, who specializes in such vile and forgotten magic. The last I heard of Rekshot was them fleeing alongside Revna's forces towards Heshiva in Anund. So we set out together for that barren place. Our journey there was interrupted when, while flying on Velsa's back, I caught sight of Major Q10's metal armor scattered across the battlefield like silver bones. Oh. I'm not sure yet who felled him, but his armor has been rent, his living wires torn and mangled. Wow. The hours that followed are a darkness to me. I retrieved a vital part of him, but it was not easily recovered. Rusted soulborgs, half alive and full of dying embers, crawled out of the mire around me, trying to take his heart for themselves. In my crestfallen state, I almost thought I saw the shapes of old friends and allies in their twisted metal forms. I have not been caught in such a vicious onslaught since our venture against the Morrow at Zaltika. I always get that name wrong. I hold now the glowing core that once sat in Q10's chest, but I do not know if he can be repaired from this. Did he not say that the souls of his kind were bound within their metal shells? Can a vessel such as this really hold a soul? Even if I were to find a new armor to place it in, would it bear any of our friend's memories, any resemblance to him at all? Although Halushia has charged into battle alongside me without question, and even now keeps a sleepless vigil while Anshu and Velsa rest, the old wizard does not quite understand my despair. For him, the only life that matters is that which grows in root and vine and the earth beneath us. I've had difficulty explaining that Q10, though fashioned of cold metal, is one of the greatest friends I have known. Souls are the same, whether clad in flesh or bark or steel. Q10 was merciful, and therefore he thought himself flawed, and it was for that flaw that we loved him the most. I shudder to think of what he might have been had he been wrought as his creators intended, as a cold administrator of death. I am sorry to write to you of losing a friend, when we have already lost another of our company. I shall do everything in my power to restore him, if it is possible. There is still a hope, however scant, of our crew of 5 friends reunited again one day. I shall not let go of it yet. Sonlen. Now, isn't that interesting that we were just talking about Justin telling me, you know, the reuniting of friends and me putting that in a stop motion type, you know, animated format. Showing mercy is why he is dead, said Derek. Yeah. Well, you know, it's interesting because this is actually kind of going backwards, because I discussed, and if you all want to go to Renegade's or www.heroscape.com on the Renegade page, there is a lore piece for Major Q11 that me and Jeremy read a few weeks ago. That got updated because when the Q11 unit was first announced, and then information on them was released on Heroscape or on Renegade's website, the lore portion did not get released at that time. Well, now it's there, and me and Jeremy read through it, and it talks about Q10 or Q11 being made, or Q10 being remade into Q11. So that is the ending story of that. But yeah, Justin, this is a very emotional thing, and we're going to go through this because there's some stuff here. There is some stuff here. Now, because it's been a little while since we were finding out what Sonlen has been doing. Oh, and another interesting tidbit too. In the narration of that animated short that I made for Renegade, this last Renegade Con, the narration is supposed to be in the voice of Sonlen, and it's my voice. So technically, via canon, I'm currently the voice of Sonlen because no one else has taken that role, which is again, that's kind of a cool thing. I'm also the voice of Bach Bernard as well, which is I consider more fun because now my the way that the Morrow sound is kind of canon now. But anyway, I digress. Derek says, I think it would be kind of hilarious if Raylan killed him while she was pretending to be mind controlled. Explain that to your friends. Actually, that would be, well, to where she kind of like destroyed his body but not his soul, and she knew that Q10 would have a soul, so he would have, but how would she know that someone would pick him up? You know, that's yeah, that's the only thing. But it's interesting that now the question is, how did he get that way? How did he get destroyed? And I think Jeremy would say, just wait. You know, it'll probably come out sometime down the line. But yeah, okay, so let me just start going through this. So he's writing to Shiori, and now we already know that Q10 gets remade into Q11, but at this time, yeah, Justin's like, that was my first thought too. Yeah, exactly. At this time during the raid in this letter, I mean, all Sonlen has is the core soul of Q10. Yeah, Raylan. I was deep undercover. Yeah, somehow Raylan isn't evil. Although she is, you know. This is actually interesting for a character arc, because when it comes to Raylan, because obviously she wanted revenge. How far are you willing to go for revenge? And what type of person do you become if you seek after that? There's there's a path you can go when it comes to honoring a person's memory that might have been taken too soon, that might have been taken very violently, against their will, that someone left behind from you. And to seek after revenge, and anger and hate can transform you from a good person into something that you didn't think would be possible. It's when it feeds into you. So it's going to be interesting where it can take Raylan. And that's just a side note, because Raylan isn't exactly in this bit of knowledge, with the exception of, I think, Sonlen's kind of hitting at that at the end. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting. And I trust, I mean, Jeremy is responsible for a lot of this lore, or the lore coming up for it. So I'm trusting that, he'll be able to take it and guide it to a good conclusion, for good or evil. We'll see. Because at the same time, even if you fall down to a state of depravity seeking after that revenge, you can have a downfall arc, but you can also have a redemption arc too, and that can take whatever over the course of time you need to take for it. All right, okay, Shiori, I've labored over how to write this letter, so I mean, Sonlen's got a lot of emotion here, for I know it'll grieve you and the tradition of my people. Yeah, so he's given some background into himself, because Sonlen is an elf, and elves have their, I mean, if it's a Tolkien like elf, I mean, this isn't exactly Tolkien, but similar. They're going to have their ballads. They're going to have their laments for fallen friends. And unfortunately, he can't do that too much on Valhalla. And so it also explains, and it goes right to the point, basically, in the second paragraph. Major Q10's been destroyed. TD10 says, yeah, to be honest, I'm a sucker for tragedies, and plays, so part of me likes that stuff. Yes, but I'm also on the side of revenge, better than just getting taken advantage of. Oh, no, I get it. I mean, I don't think you don't have to seek after revenge, because there's a term, forgive but don't forget. Yeah, I would never encourage anybody to be walked over. But there is also something about stepping in a direction that make you someone, make you into someone just like what you're trying to destroy. Derek says Red Dead, Raylan Nuptions. Anyway, okay. Major Q10 has been destroyed. Nah, I know that you were closer to him than I was, and I cannot forget gentle company. Yeah. So basically, a gentle giant. So reminiscing back. So this goes back to Swarm of the Morrow. My search for the cure to the poison that affects Ular has brought me far. Keela's wizard. So this is Sonlen just going wherever possible to seek a cure, because eventually it will take hold of these Valkyrie generals and just wipe them out. It starts with madness, but eventually it will kill them because it is poison. But this is an interesting team up. So this is a new team up. So we have Halucia, we've got Sonlen with his now grown up dragon. We have Anshu. It's a very interesting team up here, and they're basically on a quest. They're on a quest to not seek the Grail, but seek a cure. And I mean, this also, we have references from past lore bits of past scenarios. So this is all kind of like coming together, which is good. I'm glad that they brought this back to a head. Yeah, Bill Flint. Yeah, Renegades released new versions of each of the party from Thermostat. Exactly. Yep. And I mean, and I show some of that in my short too. I mean, I mainly, I mean, I have Sonlen doing the narration, but that short is primarily about Shiori and about the situation that she's in at that time, being a spy and still trying to have to stay undercover, although she reveals herself in that moment to where she had to against the minion, but then goes right back in her disguise, and so the pirates don't know that she's in disguise. It was a fun bit of writing I had to do too for that. Let's see here, and so there, yeah. So next on there, so they're looking for Rakshot, who's part of Revna's forces. So they have to probably get into Revna territory, which is gonna be a chore. And so on their way to that, they're flying and they see like just this disaster land, to where they see signs of Q10 just scattered everywhere. And who knows what destroyed him. Actually, that would be an interesting thing. What exactly destroyed him? If it wasn't Raylan, what powerful creature could have destroyed Q10? Because Q10 is pretty darn powerful. So that's another question that probably can keep in mind. So I mean, yeah, I'm sure Sonlen was pretty distraught. And this is a fun thing. Rusted Soulborgs, and we're gonna get into like the actual like the playthrough scenario, which seems really fun. And actually, I think it was it you, Derek, or was it somebody else who were like made like versions of Rusted Soulborgs? They're like so cool. Like they're on Facebook. But we'll get into that in a moment. But first just talking lore. So you have a lot of it's a really interesting look. Derek has some random molten crustacean stepped on in Soul, and he exploded. I'm hoping for a big creature that just bashed him in pieces. Yeah, Derek said, okay, made one of those so far. Others are under construction. They look really cool, Derek. Yeah. Like I said, we'll get into that in a moment. So yeah, I've not been caught since it's like I like how Zaltika is mentioned here, and then the glowing core in Q10's chest, and we know that it eventually does get repaired by Queen Kyrian. I don't know if he can be repaired from this. Does he not say? Okay. Yep. So these are just questions. Really good references. Although Helucia, and we get to learn about some of Helucia's personality. Helucia obviously isn't human. Is more in tune with plants. So a different character altogether. And yet Sonlen's still got to work with Helucia. Derek, if you can send it to me via Discord, I can show it. Yeah, I didn't download it. Otherwise, I probably would show it. I'd love a new bioengineered Mario build, even if we took out Q10. Yeah. Well, if it wasn't a bioengineered Mario, I would enjoy having a new bioengineered Mario. We kind of need that. We only got a Bark Burna. We need something bigger. We need something that's just gonna be like. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Derek. Yeah. I'll try and get it before the end. Okay. See, your soul's the same with included fresh bark of steel. Q10 was merciful. Yeah, Q10, that a machine with a soul. Therefore, he thought himself flawed. So that flaw we loved him most. Yeah. Yep. Cold Minister of Death. Yep. I'm sorry to write to you losing a friend. We've already lost another of our company. So this is, I believe this is a Raylan reference here. Didn't really lose her. She just, they just think she's gone, crossed over to the dark side. I should do everything in my power to restore him. If it possible, there is still a hope. I love this little hint. However scant, of our crew of 5 friends reunited again one day. So if they're writing that there, who knows? I'll tell you what guys do in the chat. Write to Renegade and say, let Tales of a Hell do that, like do an animation of them reuniting, and fighting together again. And if they would ask me, I probably would do it. Because that would be fun. And actually how I'd see that now I'm just brainstorming, but I could do like a flashback of like them 5 originally fighting together, and then do present time of their new versions of themselves like fighting together. Derek says, I think the only flaws in Major Q10 was the program Stay Alive. Funny. Anyway, okay, so this is like, written like it's, bad news, but again, Major Q10 gets rebuilt into Major Q11. It's almost like a Gandalf storyline, really, to where the old Q10 is dead, yes, but as we already know in Q10's new lore, he's been rebuilt into someone new. Now, how Q11 is going to be, what his personality is going to be, I guess we'll wait and see. It's probably not going to be the same. Probably going to be different. Yet there's still probably going to be part of him that's still there somewhere. So we'll see. Here's to, like Sonlen says at the end of this. Here is to hope. Still a hope, however scant, that our crew be reunited again one day. And I think, like Sonlen, we shall not let go of it yet. And so that's taking a look and reviewing. And Justin saying, in previous journal, Sonlen talked about the turncoat Raylan. Exactly. Yeah, I'm pretty sure, Justin. Yeah. So assuming the other member of the company we lost is a Raylan reference. Yeah, that's my guess too, because I think everyone else is accounted for. So, yeah, and I think there's, even though Sonlen obviously has no love for Raylan at the moment, he still hopes, that she can be redeemed, like any good elf, I think they have that hope. So yeah, that's taking a look from the pen of Sonlen. So this would be Sonlen's journal number 7, and that's taking a look and looking at Sonlen's journal. And again, they keep on writing good, so I'll keep on reading it.